The Black Ops 6 pre-order bonuses and Vault Edition bonuses have been leaked, and they seem to be pointing towards the return of characters from Black Ops 4 zombies and Black Ops 2 zombies and Cold War zombies. Like, there's a whole mishmash of interesting things happening here, so let's dive into it. It all starts with Earthbound. Earthbound has just leaked this to Charlie Intel and various other news sites which have picked up on it, including Nero Cinema as well, and the first thing that got tweeted out was just basic Vault Edition information, like stuff like this, right? They next tweeted out this image. I don't know why Frank Woods is rizzing me up right now, but that's what appears to be one of the pre-order bonuses for Black Ops 6. It's Frank Woods having just stepped out of Love Island, maybe? Like, this entire rendering is so weird to me. There's something about this that is, like, almost deeply unsettling, because Woods as a character has always been so serious, and Treyarch's animation style and art style and visual style has always had this kind of goofy, maybe claymation kind of element to it, where things in the Treyarch COD engine often feel like you could sort of stick your finger through them. Like, they look soft, they look pliable, right? That's just a fragment of the sort of Treyarch approach, right? That's part of their visual identity, or at least in my opinion. This is neither of those things. This is not Woods being serious, and nor is this the stylized look that Treyarch CODs often have. It just looks pretty real. Like, this is a very real looking face to a degree that is almost uncanny. Like, this is unsettling for me, but I'm not complaining that the skin itself looks as crispy as it does. That's a good sign for how incredibly detailed visually this game is likely to be, but that's by far the least interesting skin of the bunch, so let's move on. This one is a lot more cool. I love the red glowing eyes. I love the numbers, and the red glowing eyes we're going to come back to. There's obvious stuff that we could talk about there, but we're going to sort of put that stuff to the side for the time being. I think that overall, this is just a cool skin. Like, it just looks awesome. I think that Treyarch basically said, what's Treyarchy? Well, Treyarchy is the red eyes, the broken glass, and obviously the numbers, Mason, or the numbers, Woodsy, I suppose. So very, very cool skin, but not a huge amount that we need to read into from this one. However, this next skin is pretty much our first look at how zombies are likely to look in Black Ops 6. So it's Woods, but zombified. And there are some really interesting details here. So number one, obviously, he's got a huge amount of sort of grotesque scarring, and you can see the sinew of his muscles, and he's just there. It looks really grotesque. But interestingly, number one, he's got a Bowie knife attached to his shoulder. Like, we're meant to be the ones in zombies using the Bowie knife, not Woods. And the fact that he's got the Bowie knife here, that's a little scary, right? Second of all, though, his eyes aren't glowing, or at least they aren't glowing in the way that we would expect zombies' eyes to glow in Black Ops 6. So this is weird, because on the one hand, I think this is one of the first visualizations of a Black Ops 6 zombie that we've got to see in full HD high resolution, so that's awesome. But at the same time, it feels like they are maybe making some stylistic choices in different directions to what the wider zombies mode is going to go for. So that's just an interesting quirk. Like, I wonder why they're doing that. Why doesn't he just have glowing eyes? Like, wouldn't it be cool to be playing as a Frank Woods that has become zombified in the zombies canon kind of way, rather than a different canon kind of way, especially seeing as zombies are part of the main story now. And that makes me almost wonder if, as part of the story, this is going to happen to Woods? Like, could you imagine if there's like a clone of Woods that gets made or something, and he gets exposed to like a Nova gas, and he gets turned into this kind of monster, and we have to take down zombie Woods during the campaign, and the reason they wanted to make it look different to the rest of the zombies in the mode is because this is what the boss is going to look like. Like, we're going to have seen him before and after, and he's going to have transformed in front of us. I don't know, I'm just speculating here. I'm going crazy with the theories in the last 24 hours apparently, but anyway, that's Woods. We can go further here, because there's even more interesting stuff for us to dig into. Namely, okay, well, that's just a trio of the three of them. Also, the fact that they're presented in this way, I know that I'm really reading into things here, but it's literally the potential kind of changes that we could see Woods go through in this game. Like, we could see Woods in normal form, and then we could see this clone version of him, and this is maybe the clone version of him, and then the clone version of him could then get transformed into the zombie. Like, am I crazy, or am I cooking? Let me know in the comments. But this is what we all really came to see, right? This is the Vault Edition items. So the previous stuff is all pre-order bonuses, but this is the Vault Edition. And right here, my boy, the Warden, also known as Brutus, and Klaus also are both pre-order bonuses for the game, which is so strange. Klaus, obviously, is a character from Mauer der Toten in Cold War Zombies, and Klaus went into the portal that was being created underneath Toten. There's an entire zombies storyline explanation video that I have on my channel that I'll link in the corner of the screen right now and in the description down below that can give you the full picture of exactly what Klaus's participation was in the unfurling of all those events. But the thing that I'm probably a bit more startled by, like Klaus, I would expect, I think that's sort of less weird, although the fact that he's got a fleshy body is really strange. But the thing that's stranger is Brutus. Why is he here, bro? Like, what's this man doing? And it's really exciting to me because on the one hand, we could just be saying, yeah, okay, it's just a skin, right? It's just a cool skin. They're just calling back to something from the past. And like, they could do that. Don't get me wrong, but it's my job to try and see between the lines and see how there may be actually more depth to some of the things that they're teasing from us here. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do now, right? Brutus has one of the best zombies stories outside of the Primus crew and the Ultimus crew themselves, right? So we're all very interested in what Richtofen was up to on a given day, or what Dempsey and Takio and Nikolai might have been squabbling about in the background. But Brutus has his own entire story, and everything that they contributed to that in Black Ops 4 especially was so juicy. So don't get me wrong, in Black Ops 2, there's exciting stuff relating to this character, but the way they leaned into it in Black Ops 4 was so incredible, in my opinion. The Blood of the Dead radios, specifically, are some of my favorite radios in all of Call of Duty Zombies history, and just the way that the game progressed towards the boss fight in that map, for example, it was just, mwah, chef's kiss, absolute 10 out of 10s across the board. And so that makes me wonder, how the hell does the Warden or Brutus fit in this new story? Because obviously we're no longer in the Ether universe, we're in the Dark Ether universe now. It's the Dark Ether timeline, and to date, there is no Mob of the Dead. There is no Blood of the Dead. There is no Brutus, there is no Warden, there is no Stanley. There is just none of these things coming together. None of that exists in this universe. And it's also interesting because obviously he's got the red eyes here and he's got the blue electricity, all very Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 2 themed. But if we look over at Klaus has the purple Ethereum glow inside him, right? This is not the previous like Element 115 kind of vibe by any means. This is very much the Dark Ether look. Down here as well on his legs, you can see that he's got the Dark Ether glow emanating down there as well. So it's very much intended, I think, to be the new kind of color scheme and then the older kind of color scheme. But it just makes me wonder, like, what are they getting at here? Is there more to this? Is Brutus going to be back in some way in this story? Like, for example, does Brutus, who obviously has significant connections with Cerberus, right? Seeing as we saw the dog heads on Mob of the Dead of all maps, and that is the entire logo of this game now is Cerberus, right? But specifically, Brutus has such connections to sort of hell and the underworld and things like that, and that's really what the Dark Ether is being made out to be a manifestation of in many ways, and so it wouldn't shock me at all if there is some weird path through which Brutus does actually have a story connection to the Dark Ether itself and uses that to get into this new world. I mean, we know that Chaos is somehow in this new world now as well, so the idea of an occasional callback to the Ether story is not beyond what is a reasonable assumption to make, I don't think. So will he absolutely be here for story purposes? It's too early to say, and I think that to proclaim as such would be to sort of go off the deep end a little bit too much, but certainly right now, the fact that he's being created in the game and put in the game in any capacity is fascinating. Like, bear in mind, this is the same Treyarch that has worked so hard to keep old zombie stuff from the Ether story trapped in the Ether box, and now suddenly this is an opening of the box, even if it's just a skin. Like, why are they doing that? They're not putting Richtofen in the game as Eddie Richtofen. He's the director and that's it, right? There's no, oh yeah, fun Dempsey throwback skin. They're not going there. They're not putting Maxis in the game as just a bloke that you can play as in Warzone. This is a change to that form. So really exciting stuff. Let me know what you think of it in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe also so you don't miss videos like this one in the future. The last thing I'll leave you with is I posted a video yesterday about Transit seemingly having a lot of inspiration for the Black Ops 6 map Liberty Falls, which I'm anticipating, and that theory is linked on the screen right now for you to click as well.